AITA for dropping my sister's kids at the child-free wedding that she was at? To make a long story short, I, F25, am a medical student. My free time is very limited and I have lots and lots of commitments. My sister, F33, has 3 kids all under 10 and she often expects me to babysit for her, which isn't the main problem, but she drops them off at random times with very short notice or no notice at all. The other day, she called saying she was on her way to drop the kids off at my place, because she was attending her friend's child-free wedding and she couldn't take the kids with her. I had a huge argument with her on the phone because I had to study for my upcoming exam, but next thing I knew, the kids were at my doorstep and she was already back in the car and then drove off with her husband. I was so pissed I couldn't handle it. I decided to get dressed 30 minutes later and take the kids right where their mom and dad were. I drove them to the wedding, which was at her friend's house, and had them go in. The men there tried to stop the kids till my sister and her husband came rushing. My sister was shocked. She started shouting after me, but I quickly got into the car and drove off. I went home and she started calling me. After she realized I wasn't going to pick up, she sent few texts calling me unhinged and a fucking bitch for putting her in this situation and embarrassing her in front of her friends. She mentioned that by bringing the kids to the child-free wedding I disrespected her friend, which affected their relationship. AMD caused her and her husband to go home and miss out on TJE rest of the wedding. Her husband called later and I picked up thinking he'd speak to me rationally like he always does, but he scolded me saying that it wouldn't hurt if I kept the kids for few hours, and then expressed how disappointed he was and how selfish and petty I was to do this to my sister and her kids. Now I'm thinking I should have sucked it up for few hours. NTA, your sister dropped her kids off at your house without prior arrangements, assuming you had nothing else to do. She thinks she's entitled to everyone else's time and help. Hint: she's not. You didn't do this to your sister. She did it to herself. She knew she had a wedding. She should have arranged with you in advance or hired a babysitter. You did not disrespect her. On the contrary, she disrespected you and doesn't value you or your time. She and hubby decided to be parents. It's their responsibility to take care of their children and not dump it on someone else when it is inconvenient for them. Edit. Wow, thanks for all the awards. What a nice surprise. Let's not forget that OP may not even be home whenever these unexpected tests, drop-offs occur. NTA. OP. As soon as she said she was on her way, I'd be out the door. Sorry, I'm not home, find some other sucker. NTA, you were very nice to them. The other option would have been to call CPS. Yes. I also want to point out that the sister probably had some sort of prior notice that her friend was getting married and that the wedding was also child-free. She most likely had plenty of time to ask the OP if they were available to babysit, and if not, to find another form of childcare. The sister is a huge Whoa, now, you're acting like this is a life event that many announce a year in advance, send a postcard about 8 months in advance, and send a card some months after that. Let's be rational here. Tell your sister and her husband, a lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. They presumably had months to figure out childcare arrangements and chose to dump them with you last minute, with no regard for your personal life, and then run away and get mad when you return their kids to them. NTA 100%, and anyone who says ESH or YTA needs to rethink and put themselves in OP shoes. Edit. Holy moly. Didn't expect to see this get upvoted so many times. Thanks for the upvotes and thanks for the awards. Edit 2. Put spaces between ESH and YTA to not count them as votes. Edit 3. I'm getting a lot of comments still saying ESH, because of the innocent kids or the bride, groom. Whilst true, both the kids and wedding party are innocent in this matter, I feel some people are still not trying to think of this situation as if they were OP. You have to study, your time is limited, and therefore valuable, and suddenly you are forced into a situation you did not plan for nor agree to. How would you feel? Would you really stop your important studying to unexpectedly take care of 3 kids under 10? This OP should not babysit her sister's kids until she and her husband apologizes to her. Their inability to make arrangements for childcare for an event they obviously knew months in advance show that they are taking advantage of op generosity and that they likely have done this before. I would be done babysitting for a long time after this. She cursed op out, and someone who talks to her like that is just using her. Right. You can't berate someone and call them names and still expect them to babysit for you. At the same time, this is her sister's way of trying to double down and gaslight op into doing as she's told and get back in line. There was no reason that this was a last-minute arrangement. She had that invite a while and chose to not even mention it, which is just beyond rude and abusive of op and her time. AITA for returning my daughter's birthday cake after I discovered that my wife made changes to it. I am 37, have a daughter, now 13, Olivia, from my former relationship. Currently, I'm married to my wife who has a daughter, 16, Brittany. So, Brittany is the opposite of Olivia. For example, Brittany is a social kid, Olivia is introvert. The list is long, but they're just the complete opposite. Olivia's 13th birthday was 2 days ago. She loves chocolate, and I decided this is the flavor I was going to go with when I contacted the bakery. However, my wife objected since Brittany absolutely hates chocolate and suggested we go with vanilla. I said no way because for one, Olivia hates vanilla and it's also her birthday, so she gets to have her cake with her favorite's flavor. My wife got upset and took it as in I had no regard for Brittany and that we should just choose another natural flavor instead. I shut that down and said no more discussing this because I'd already decided to go with what Olivia wanted. At the day of the birthday, I was supposed to go get the cake, but I was surprised to see my wife coming home after picking up the cake from the bakery. I looked at it and discovered that it wasn't a chocolate cake but a vanilla cake with small pieces of chocolate on top. I got pissed thinking they got my order wrong and was about to contact them, but my wife said there was no mistake and that she called the bakery the day before and made slight changes to the cake to please both girls. I was stunned. I lost it on her and asked why the hell she did that. She got defensive, saying that birthdays are no excuse to show favoritism and that her daughter is watching and observing how I'm treating both girls. I told her off since I was the one paying, then called the bakery and explained what happened. I had the cake returned and replaced with a chocolate cake. Although this one is smaller, but it was fine. My wife declined to take part in the celebration, and later we got into a huge argument where she called me controlling and selfish for returning the cake instead of using this opportunity to teach Olivia to compromise so everyone's happy. Now I'm teaching her to be selfish. I said that my daughter gets to act selfish on her birthday and that she, my wife, was teaching her daughter to be entitled. Word for word, and it led to a bigger argument. We're not talking as of now. AITA for returning the cake and not taking my wife's input into consideration? NTA. It's Olivia's birthday, not Brittany's birthday. The cake should be the flavor of what the birthday kid wants. This is a special day for Olivia, therefore there doesn't really need to be fairness between your daughters. I don't like chocolate, but when it's my sister's birthday, we get chocolate because it's what she likes. I suck it up because it's her special day. Your wife is an asshole for going behind your back. The cake was basically vanilla to make Brittany happy, with tiny bits of chocolate for the birthday girl. Why can't Brittany learn to compromise? She's older, and she should know that she can't get what she wants on a day that's not her birthday. Keep a very keen eye on both your stepdaughter and most of all your wife. Should she try some of this again, divorce her before she does lasting damage to your child. And your wife certainly is a huge NTA. But, do you see the flags? A birthday cake is for the person whose birthday it is. It's not selfish or demeaning to get the person's favorite flavor. Your stepdaughter could have had a vanilla cupcake. But, no, your wife made the point to go behind you back and change it for her daughter. Your wife talks about how her daughter is observing how you treat her. So your daughter doesn't matter? Your daughter would see a stepmom who doesn't give two shits about her. Hypocrisy much? You did well in changing the cake. But you have way bigger problems in your home. The fact that she did this so flagrantly tells me she's been messing with your kid for a while. You probably just caught on. Edited. A word. I know, right? She keeps saying, You are teaching Olivia to be selfish, all while catering to her own kid on OP's kid's birthday. Her kid getting what she wants, overruling what the actual birthday kid wants, is the definition of selfish. She is teaching her kid to be entitled even when it is someone else's time to shine. Of course Olivia gets to be favorited on her birthday. LMAO. I am saying NTA. But like the comments have said, you need to talk with your daughter and ask how your wife has been treating your daughter behind your back. This is most certainly not the first time she has gone behind your back. I wouldn't be surprised if she has possibly taken things you have given to Olivia and given them to her daughter while telling Olivia not to be selfish. NTA at all. It seems you have a serious wife problem. She is way out of her lane. 1. You're Olivia's parent. Her birthday, her cake. 2. You're Olivia's parent. You get to decide what lessons she gets and when, at least for now. 3. Your wife seems to think that you too need a lesson and she's treating you as a child. I would seriously reconsider this whole situation. It's not okay for her to undermine and undo your decisions. This wouldn't be okay even if she was her child too. She is, without a doubt, the controlling one here. If she wanted Brittany to eat vanilla cake, she should have gotten her one. That would have been the only logical compromise. Get a slice of vanilla cake for her. That's plenty to show that you've considered her preferences, but without ruining it for the birthday girl. Getting a third flavor is like, hey, I like mountains, you like seasides, so let's go to a small hill and be miserable. Brittany gets her cake on her b-day. I assume she has one too. And the lesson is, birthdays are when we celebrate the person whose birthday it is. Surely at 16, she'd get it. Or does she dictate friends' cakes, too? I have the sneaky suspicion that Olivia has to put up with a lot of this kinda crap from both of them. Good job for sticking up for her.